Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Professional Skill Enrichment Committee. So we have with us today Mr. Abhijit Sanskiri, sir, our very own versatile and dynamic chartered accountant with an experience of around 35 years. So he is here with us to present his views on perception management skills for chartered accountants, which I believe is a prerequisite for carrying out any task in our profession, be it we are working with the industry, be it we are like into our own practice. So it is a prerequisite if we want to expand and grow into our profession. So Abhijit sir, he has a post-qualification experience of around 35 years, out of which he has like a speaking experience of 25 years at ICI Forum. In addition to this, he is into blogging on LinkedIn as well for around 4 years, and he has almost like 1,000 plus posts in LinkedIn. He has, in addition, mentored on effective LinkedIn usage to many professionals, and he has been speaking exclusively on this topic at multiple forums. So, Abhijit sir, over to you so that you can share your views on the management skills to our members of ICAI so that they can effectively use this into their profession.
Fine.
Over to you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to express my views on this topic, perception management skills for chartered accountants. And this may as well apply to any professional. And before I start this topic, I would like to start with something which I truly believe in. In life, you get what you want when you know what you want. And when you know what you want well enough, then it's waiting to happen. People call it a miracle. I call it the new normal. So, the key is awareness precedes change and clarity precedes mastery. So, if you need to basically change first yourself and then the perceptions around you, perceptions for you, then you need to be very clear of what you want to do, why you want to do, how you want to do, and then that's waiting to happen. So be very clear and be aware. Now, when we speak on any topic, as a chartered accountant, and we all are great analytics dissectors, so we have three parts to this. Perception, we have perception, we have skills, and we have management. Now, what is perception? What is management? And what are skills? So the key here is perception. And perception is a process. It's a method. It's a strategy. And it's a strategic process to understand how others interpret you. And when they interpret you, they interpret your actions, they interpret your behaviors, they interpret your message. And you may think, behave, and act in a particular way, but that may not be necessarily interpreted, thought, or perceived by people in the same manner as what you may be thinking. And that's where you need to use that knowledge of you speaking, behaving, acting, communicating, all of that to consciously influence and shape opinions about you, around you, positively for your benefit, for your personal growth and development. So one, you need to understand, and when you understand, you need to use that knowledge, that understanding to basically influence people consciously to basically change. Now, management is a structured process. It is all about effective and efficient allocation of resources optimally. And why management is, you can't do it in a haphazard, unorganized, unstructured manner. This has to be done consciously. It has to be done in a particular manner. So, one, you need to shape opinions positively, and you need to do it through a structured management process. And you need to develop those skills. You need to know, you need to understand, you need to be aware, you need to change. You need to know why people think the way they think, why people act the way they act, why people behave the way they behave. And you use this knowledge about people to build trust, to build credibility, to bring strong relationships on the table, to develop rapport. And that's with all stakeholders. And as a professional, you need to interact with your juniors, you need to interact with your seniors, you need to interact with your fellow partners, you need to interact with your vendors, you need to interact with your employees, you need to interact with your clients, you need to make presentations at the board meeting. So you need to speak. There's a lot of communication, verbal, non-verbal, written communications. And there are always, as I put it, 5 types. The one which you always dream that this is what I am, and this is what I should be perceived, is what I expect to be perceived. And then I have a certain potential of my thoughts, and based on my thoughts or my thought leadership, I would have a particular behavior, a particular action. So that's my potential. And then when I'm communicating, I would prepare for it, for any meeting, for any discussion. I'm prepared. Because whatever I do, it's an expression of my thought. And I get those thoughts in my mind. So it's all about my mindset. So it's all about how I think positively, how I think consciously, how I think in a structured manner, how I think with clarity, how I think with crispness, how I think with conciseness. how I think with complete comprehensiveness of the facts and the information with me to basically speak. So I need to do that so that I build trust, I build credibility, and I build strong relationships. So one is my projection about how I would be perceived at my best. I may have a certain potential to do it. I may prepare for it. And then I'll be actually presenting it. I'll be speaking it out. I'll be discussing. I'll be conversing. I'll be negotiating. I'll be doing a lot of things, which I do. And then what I do, what I want to do, why I want to do, and how I do is not the way it's actually felt, it's actually interpreted, or it's responded, reacted, reverted by the opposite party. It may be one on one, it may be one to many, and there would be various types. So this is something where it's a monologue. I don't even get to see the people. I don't even know how many people are there. That's the format. It could be a one-to-one, one-to-many in a physical situation. It could be a physical hybrid. It could be one-to-one, one-to-many, and that many could vary from just a couple of people to hundreds to thousands to multiple, being a shareholders meet or you addressing people live across social media. You may just not know how many people are there. It's all about your presentation. And then that's finally how is it perceived, whether it's perceived in the exact manner which you projected as your dream, for which you have the potential, for which you have done the presentation and the preparation. So all of that has to be in sync. And for that, we need to do a lot of things. And those things are just not what is in it for me. It is what is in it for them. I need to be very conscious of the other person's personality type, his attitude, his mindset. It's also a study where you can go in deep about neuro-linguistic programming, why people behave the way they behave, and maybe respond or react or revert or communicate with people in those manner in which they best understand, so that they can align, they can sync with what you bring on the table with your value and values. So be aligned when you speak, what you think, what your thoughts are, with what other person, so that there should be no barriers to that communication. It should be transparent, it should be free flowing. So understand all the verbal, non-verbal cues so that you really are effective and efficient in conveying exactly what you want to say. So people interpret it in the same manner and people perceive you in the same manner. The perception trumps reality unless it's busted. Reality may be certain thing, reality may be something else, but people may perceive that to be something else, because it's either you don't have full information, you don't are patient enough to absorb the full information. You just first impressions matter at a lot of times. We are living in an era of information overload, so nobody has the time to wait till the last minute. When you're on social media, you see a post, maybe if the headline is good enough, it's a magnetic headline which makes you go a deep further in it, you would go in it. Now, if the initial content is interesting, you'll go still further, and then you'll go on and on. But then in the end, if it's bad, I think you've just missed it out completely. It's like a movie. If the start is bad, you just don't have the patience to sit throughout. You will just at the click of the button switch channels if you are at your home in the comfort of your television or your laptop. If you're in a theater, you might as well walk out. So you have to have a good start, a good middle, and a powerful end. If you want to retain the audience attention, because we're living in a classic era of attention deficit disorder. We just don't have the time. So if people don't have the time to really spend of hours, because once a time is spent, it's gone forever. Time is money. Time is scarce. Time is at premium. And for that, for people to spend time on you, you got to bring something on the table which is value with values. People will listen to you only if it's what they call you're a thought leader, you're a personal brand. You communicate something which solves their pain points or problems. The real challenge is you losing out to the mobile. The moment you're speaking, you're discussing, you're presenting, and they don't find you good enough to merit their attention, they'll just switch off. So the initial is very powerful. But for that initial first is you need to know the real you. Who's the real you? Who are you? Who's the real authentic me? Who am I as a human being? As a person with value or values? Do my titles define me? Do my qualifications define me? Do my wealth and income define me? So who am I? There's a lot of difference between me as a material person and me as a spiritual person. So am I really balanced materially and spiritually? And do I know the real purpose of my life? Why? Why is my existence? Why am I here for? What is the legacy I want to leave? Do I really want to inspire, motivate, transform, and transcend human lives? Do I want to make an impact? What is the impact I want to create? How do I want to create the impact? And in what area, in what field, in what subject? So, do I know myself really well? Knowing self, the awareness, the introspection, the reflection on who I am, what are my skills, what are my talents, what is my USP, what is my UVP, what are my core strengths, what do I bring on the table which others don't, what is my niche, what is my super niche, and am I upskilling, upgrading, reinventing myself and working on my fullest potential, working with all my gifts and talents that I possess and that I possess in abundance. And I can improvise on that every day, every moment. And do I use it to benefit humanity? Do I proactively anticipate pain points of my fellow clients and solve them in my own simple, transparent, objective, timely manner? And am I respected, appreciated, recognized, and encouraged, empowered to act in the way I act? Am I transparent and not opaque? Who do others think I am? And is that thinking of others about me the same as I truly am? And when we were in college, we had something which we learned called the Johari's window. And the Johari's window talked of four quadrants. And if I apply this to perception, is what I know about myself and what others know about me. And that's in sync. So I'm completely transparent enough that what I am, what I do, what I think, what I behave, and the others actually perceive me in the same manner. So who I am is in perfect sync with what others think I am. Then there is something about me which I know, but others don't know. And it's my duty to bring that out to the world. That's what I need to present. I need to present it originally. I need to present it authentically. I need to present it strategically. And I need to present it with trust and credibility, with competency, with integrity, with honesty, with sincerity, with humility. So one is what I know and others know, perfect, in sync. What I know, others don't know, and I need to position and present myself to the world. And what others know about me, which I don't know. And that's something which I need to know by taking feedbacks. So, how often do we take feedbacks? How often do we take what we call as feed forward? How often are we willing to accept something which could be a criticism, but something which could work for our benefit? So, please take feedbacks. And that could start with doing a perception audit, a repetition audit. And one of the ways is, apart from self awareness by reflection, introspection of self, you take feedbacks from various sources. And this could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be your peers in work, it could be all stakeholders you interact with who know you, it could be your mentors, masterminds, coaches, accountability partners, your trainers, facilitators, whomsoever you interact with, who would know you better, take the feedback. And when you take a feedback, take it with all humility, take it with an open mind. Consider it positively for your improvement. If there's something which you don't agree, maybe don't brood over it too much, don't think too much over it, just ignore it. If you think it's not for your good, or whatever is for your good, just process it and act on it. And there is something about me which I don't know and which others also do. These are complete blind spots. And this is as I progress, I mature in life. This is where I introspect, reflect deeply. I evolve as a human being. I would come to know a lot of these things. The more I interact with people, the people would know certain aspects about me. Or if people think too deeply for me, about me, care for me, they would think something for me which I really don't know, and they would bring it out. So this is something which is a constant work in progress, which I need to do. So just bear these four things in mind with a structured, conscious manner, and possibly think of doing your self perception repetition audit. And this is a small exercise which you could do is ask people to describe you in one word. What's the one word that comes into the mind of various key stakeholders who interact with you? Ask them to give you a feedback for. And that one word could maybe be the base for driving your thought leadership brand, your personal brand on across physical and digital platforms. So, what is the value you bring with your values? And sincerity, discipline, determination, dedication, tenacity, grit, patience, perseverance, humility, grace, confidence, courage, kindness, honesty, integrity, charisma. A lot of things would be your values, your core values, which define you, which others recognize you for. And it could also be the manner you dress, the manner you speak, your colors, your style of writing, your power quote, your power pose. So when you post, there's some headshot, some photograph of yours which you bring in. So think of that. What do you want to do which truly resonates with you, which you do it with passion, the passion which aligns with your purpose. And then you will get the profit, because profit is always a byproduct. It's what we say as chartered accountants, pride of service before personal gain. We partners in nation building, but we think we are partners in nation building, and we act as if we are partners in nation building, and we truly think and truly act, but do others perceive us that we are so? So that's where we need to manage our reputations and consciously influence our perceptions to be in real sync with us, our core value and value systems. And value will always come with values. It's your personal values will always precede the professional value you get on the table. The imposter syndrome, which is talked about. Do I have an imposter syndrome? And an imposter syndrome comes from the fact that I know something about myself and I'm faking it till I make it. And I'm packaging and presenting myself so well that others don't know about it. But it's a matter of time when it's caught up. And I think you need to upskill, upgrade, reinvent, unlearn, learn, relearn so that there's nothing called an imposter syndrome around with you. Absolutely clear, confident, humble, without ego and arrogance when you step out with all your gravitas. And I think that's one key word, your personality, your mannerisms, your etiquettes. Well, that's also important. You need to be simple and humble. You can't be egoistic, arrogant, rude, crude, crass. So a lot of things, small actions, consistent actions, can't afford to slip up, let your guard down, which would define and shape your perceptions. And people see what they want to see. People see what they feel. People see what they need to see. And you need to know that. And that act in a manner that it all aligns, it all fits, it all syncs. So know you very well, know what you want really well. And once you have that awareness and clarity, that awareness and clarity will precede the change and mastery. So there'll be no easy ways to progress. It's always hard work, which then gives you the smartness to do smart work. No free lunches in life, not even free breakfasts. Nothing is built overnight. They say Rome was never built in a day. You got to take baby steps. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So just start, just do it, just act. And one need not wait for perfection. Perfection and excellence are ongoing targets. There's a 40-70 rule. Get at least 40% information to think about it. Don't act if you don't have less than 70% information as is needed to act. So while they say failures are stepping stones to success, and you did not take failure to heart and learn from your failures to move ahead. But at certain times in life, failures will not be acceptable. You can't goof up in the audit committee presentation. You can't goof up when you are speaking on stage at let's say a TED talk. We are not goofing up when you're making a presentation to a client when you have competition around. So you need to practice, you need to rehearse. Repetition is the mother of all skills. Practice makes a man perfect. You need to prepare. Luck will be only when preparedness meets opportunity. So you got to be prepared for the right opportunity to strike, and then you be at your best behavior, best thoughts, best action, best version of yourself. So be very clear, be aware, and change for the better. Keep on doing it right. Keep on doing it consistently right. Keep on doing it in a sustained, gradual, incremental, improved manner. Do I have a vision and a mission statement? So, what's the broad vision that I have for myself and where I would want to be? And when I have the broad vision, what the general mission statement that I would go about? And then would be my goals: long term, medium term, short term. SMART goals, as they say: specific, measurable, articulated, achievable, realistic, and time bound. And goals give a direction, goals give a focus, and I need to clearly master time. Time management is another key area because I have limited time. So, do I belong to the 5 a.m. club? Am I someone who is early to bed and early to rise? So, that makes me healthy, wealthy, and wise. Do I follow the structured, what they call the Eisenhower matrix of urgency versus important? So, how I do immediately the urgent and important tasks, how I just get those non urgent and non important tasks off the table, how do I delegate the urgent but not important tasks and monitor it, or how do I schedule the important but not urgent tasks? Because for a professional, deadlines matter. We have dates for tax returns, we have dates for audit committees, which are fixed in advance, and I need to plan. So I need to do time management. I can never afford to goof up on that. And that's how, with consistency, perceptions are built. The perceptions that I have never ever delayed on my commitments. I've never ever been late to my office. I've never ever taken a leave when I don't have a valid reason. I've always communicated well in advance. So nothing catches anyone by surprise. So people know what to expect from me. I set expectations, I manage expectations, and I exceed expectations. I walk the extra mile. I walk the talk. I walk the walk. Client expectations, I set them, I manage them, and I surpass them. And I can do all of that with my value and values, with clarity to precede mastery, for awareness to precede change, pride of service before personal gain, and using all this to leave a legacy by transforming and transcending human lives. What would I like people to say about me? Is that what they say about me when I'm not there? And that's personal branding. What people know me as. Is that what they know me as, the same as what I am and what I truly am? And that would only happen if I'm a giver, I'm a sharer, and I share transparently, I share openly. I'm nothing to hide, I'm nothing to hold back. And I'm growing personally so that I grow professionally by using my fullest gifts, skills, talents, my abundance that I have to benefit the society, benefit the humanity, benefit my clients, benefit my customers, benefit my stakeholders. And what are those values that I really am pursuing as one single value? As I said, get the feedback. Am I known for my speed? Am I known for my preciseness, accuracy, delivering on time, sticking to my commitments, keeping my word? Am I known for my simplicity, my humility, my sincerity, my gracefulness? Am I known for my power dressing? Am I known for the way I write? Am I known for the way I treat people, treating others with respect, admiration, appreciation? I acknowledge people for what they have done, what good they have done. And am I moving people from good to greatness? And do I recognize and reward talents, my juniors? Do I encourage and empower them? And that's what I'm known for. How do people react with you? So you deal with a lot of articles. They're there with you for some time in your lives. But what is the impression? What is the lasting impression you have left on them? How is it that they respond to you years after they have completed the articleship? What is the rapport that you built with them? As chartered accountants who can't advertise being bound by code of ethics, our clients are our best advocates. They recommend, they refer, they give testimonials, though not structured, unstructured. What do they perceive us as? And that's something which I should really think and work consciously on, and not structured with a way of manipulating minds. It's not about manipulation, it's all about authentic display and playing out what you truly are. And that's what will make the persons who are there in your lives be better, because you were in their lives and they would want other people to be in your lives and you to be in their lives. And that's how you spread those ripples of your positive perceptions amongst whomsoever you interact with. So just think, just reflect, just introspect. Perception is the reality, though there could be facts. Because people have opinions, people have biases, people have judgments. People don't have an open mind. People are prejudiced. People are conditioned by their own circumstances, backgrounds, context. They don't know with what context, background you are coming from, because they are meeting you at certain stage, certain chapter in your book just comes up, and they just process what they see in the manner they're conditioned to see, and then they react. So be clear of this when you communicate with people. And communication is the greatest skill in the planet. And you have to be very clear on how you communicate. You communicate every day in your life. Even silence is communication. So there's written communication through your audit reports, through your presentations, through what you speak out, even your gestures give a lot of cues to people. So you may have a frown on your face, you may be angry, you may be irritated, you would be happy, you would be excited, you would be energized, you would be full of enthusiasm, and that would show in your body language, and that communicates. Do you make other people welcome? Do you display that warmth? Do people feel like connecting with you, listening to you, following you for what you are? So communication skills, very important in building perceptions. Authoring a book gives authority. If somebody has written a book, maybe he may have done whatever in writing a book. Now you can write a book in a couple of hours, ChatGPT. But yes, a book is written. You publish, you're an author, somebody has not deep dived into it. But the perception is created that yes, he is author, so he is authority. So unless that's busted by facts, because if you're asked to speak out, if you've not written it, then your truth, your credibility could be exposed. And once your reputation is hit, it's very difficult to mend it at any point of time, especially on integrity and credibility. Then your interpersonal skills, your social skills. We're living in an era of social media, WhatsApp, University of Knowledge, the Facebook and the Instagram University of displaying how you celebrate with your friends and family. The LinkedIn University of building your personal brand through thought leadership, expressing your views, communicating, reverting, responding, acknowledging with peers, knowing where you are, what you are in life. A lot of recruiters will check you out on social media, and your posts or lack of it will form perceptions. So interpersonal skills, the social skills just can't be ignored in today's life. And the gravitas, your personality, your manners, your etiquettes. People observe the way you are dressed, how you express and impress, whether your shoes are really polished, your clothes are ironed, how your desk is neat and tidy, how even the bags or the pouches you carry. And then the relationships, the rapport to build with people, the connections, the heart to heart connections, the human to human connections, the connections with compassion, the connections with empathy, the connections with care, the connections with kindness, the connections with grace and gratitude is what matters. And you need to build authentic connections. You need to have roving fans, as they say. You need to have supporters for life. People who will stand by you come what may. So managing relations is one key. And then finally is the emotional intelligence. Because all of us think rationally or act rationally based on our emotions. So the emotions are at play. And while they would be a major factor, we only rationalize it by logic. And it's all a combination of our left brain, right brain. So emotional intelligence is key. We are emotional creatures. We think through the heart more at times than through the brain, or we combine both the two. So the mind, the mindset, the heart is a key part, and we should be aware of our emotional intelligence and the intelligence of others. So not just the intellectual skills, the mental skills, the emotional skills, the social skills, plus maybe living in the technological world, the technological skills all are needed in the right combo to impress, to create the positive perception. So building perceptions through noting these 5 key points, and which we'll look at a bit in depth. One is communication. The second is interpersonal skills. The third is your gravitas, your personality. The fourth is your relationship. And the last is the emotional intelligence. So just remember this 5 points. Communication, interpersonal skills, gravitas, personality, relationships, and your emotional intelligence. And let's go into that points in a bit more depth. In communication, it's all about your articulation. And when you are articulating, you just follow the C's: clarity, conciseness, correctness, crispness, comprehensiveness. Clarity, conciseness, crispness, crispness, clarity, correctness, and comprehensiveness. And this has to be articulated with confidence. And you need to be accurate and precise. Facts have to be perfect. No goof ups. Can't fudge facts. Can't just speak out of the mind whatever you mind to when you are giving numbers, because chartered accountants are numbers persons and correct to the last microdecimal. And again, when you're responding, it has to be a structured reward. If there are reports with a checklist, A, B, C as the question, respond to A, respond to B, respond to C in a very structured manner. Don't skip A or C and just answer B. Or just don't answer A, C, leaving B, or A or B, leaving A. Whatsoever, answer specifically with all the C's. State how you did it, to what extent you did it, because we use a lot of sampling. So state the sample used, state the methodology used, and what you did. What was the purpose in doing it? What was the documentation you saw? What were the reports you saw? So I checked these reports. Within the reports, I checked this, and I did maybe 100 files. So clearly articulate, clearly communicate with all the C's. And when you are communicating, when it's a audit committee or it's a presentation, be an active listener. See all the verbal, non-verbal cues. go to the core or the root of the problem to seriously highlight what is really needed. And also have an empathetic approach because the client is already troubled at times. You can't give him all the problems and tell him that this is what stupidity he has done. Boss, he knows he's stupid. That's why he's come to you for a solution. You need to give solutions. A doctor can't tell a patient this is what is the wrong he did and give him sermons. What has happened now. How do we course correct it? What are the next steps? Don't say this is wrong. Say this is the way it can be done right. Be positive in your approach. It will make a world of difference. That there's a way of looking at a glass half full or half empty. Look at things which are problems as opportunities for growth and report concisely. Whereas you may have a long report as is needed, have an executive summary. Be very clear on the actionables. Maybe you could tabulate it with dates in a chronological order. So use all your charts, all your diagrams, because people have three styles of listening. They are visual, they are auditory, they are kinesthetic. So you need to know the WAC. How do I communicate or how do I respond to people with no knowledge of the WAC? And keep on regularly updating. You can't say at the last minute, I didn't receive these data, so this is delayed. I need to inform them timely. When we do bank audits with just 10 days, it's like a limited over, not even a 20 over. It's a T10 match, rain curtain T10 match. We have just 6 days. And you can't wait on the sixth day to say, I didn't receive this. You got to be prepared. You got to the moment you get an appointment letter, you need to shoot your data requirement. And the client always goofs up on the data. The wrong data is given, incomplete data is given. And when you've given him rewards, the wrong reward is given. And then when the reward is given and when it's almost finalized, the CEO or the top management will come with a different reward. So you need to basically bear that in mind because finally your perception is on the aim. Haven't you trained your people well enough to know whom to contact for the right information and how do you communicate it right? And then explain things transparently. Transparency is a key virtue. Honesty is always the best policy. You don't have to lie. You don't have to make up. You don't have to think and invent stories when you're telling the truth because truth is always factual. So be proactive, be preventive, be automated in your controls about things. And whenever there is a doubt, clarify. And address the concerns immediately. Don't wait. Time and tide wait for no one. We're living in an era which is flexible, adaptable, speedy, and timely. The FAST acronym. Flexible, adaptable, speedy, timely in the VUCA Bani world, a world which is volatile, un uncertain, complex, ambiguous, brittle, anxious, non-linear, incomprehensible. And in these VUCA Bani worlds, you need to be super fast. And your communication has to be crisp, clear, concise, comprehensive, with confidence. Then your interpersonal or social skills, empathy an understanding of the other person, knowing his problems, accepting and appreciating his problems, and giving him the right timely solutions which are effective, can be implemented, given on ground reality, not a 30,000 feet view. Show genuine concern for people's problem. And when you're genuine and authentic, that's when you build rapport. And that's always with trust. And that's with another acronym I use, RARE, with respect, appreciation, recognition, and empowerment. And as CAs, we all use acronyms. We had all used it to study, to remember. And this is a skill which I've learned from my study days, and I'm using it in my speaking days. And that's how I get into a flow while speaking. It's like a mind map. I don't need to think much, and you just can't get out of your flow state. And when you are in a flow state, that's when your energy will go. And when your energy is going, your focus is there. And when your focus is there, that's how you're productive, efficient, and effective. And that's where you can implement and execute things in the right manner, in the right time. And that's how you build strong, positive perceptions. And this is a guy who implements things on time, implements it effectively, efficiently, is a great implementer, executor, whatever. Have no conflicts. Be completely independent. Independence of thought, independence of mind, where the head is held high and the mind is free. Ethics is at the core of what we do. Ethics builds perceptions. And ethics is for everyone, every time, everywhere. Trust is the key word here. With transparency. Honesty is the best policy. Integrity is non-negotiable. Calling a spade with courage and conviction. Show up, speak up, stand up for what you think is right. And this, as I say, is simple. You have your own style, the perception. So maybe building up acronym. So this ethics was also an acronym. Ethics is for everyone, every time, everywhere. The transparency and trust is key. H, honesty is the best policy. I, integrity is non-negotiable. C is the courage of conviction to call a spade of spade. And S is speak up, stand up, show up for what you think is right and do always the right at the right time. Adaptability being fast, as I say, flexible, adaptable, speedy, and timely, the just in time approach, the gig economy. Each of these will need you to upscale, upgrade, reinvent, invent. And we are living in an era not where you are the jack of all trades. You are living in an era where you are a jack of just some trades, some skills. You're a jack of some skills. You are a king or queen of a chosen few of those some skills. And out of the chosen few of the some skills, you have to be an emperor or an empress of one, two, or three. That's your niche, your super niche. And you need to find that out with your value and value systems, what people think about you strongly, What's the one word that comes in your mind when they think about you? And this is where I'll take a minute break for you to pause and think what you could think of, that one buzzword, that magical word, that magnetic word on which you can build the positive perception, the positive brand, the reputation online, offline. So do this exercise. Ask your key stakeholders to define you in one word, professionally or personally, and see whether that syncs with what you think of yourself. So what your friends think, what your family thinks, what your professional peers think, your juniors, seniors think, whether they are all in sync. So spend a minute and then let's continue ahead. Reflect, introspect, think of that one word, one magical word which is your number one reputation, brand builder. Think, reflect, introspect. That's powerful. Go within, go to your conscious core. And once you had that, do this today itself, asking your stakeholders and align that and see how perceptions are in sync. Fine. Let's go ahead. Your personality, which we talked about. And personality is key. Are you professionally dressed always for the occasion? And I know some chartered accountants who are in crisp whites, polished black shoes, some with always a tie, some maybe like doctors in smart half shirts with ties, casual Fridays, trendy Saturdays, family time Sundays, strictly professional Monday to Thursday, dressed for the occasion, dressed with your power pose, your power style of speaking, your power quote. So I always say, being a risk manager into risk management, calling myself a risk de-risker. Whenever there is a risk, you need to de-risk. Every risk can be de-risked. So what's your power pose? What's your power quote? What's your power statement? When people come and visit you in your office or your office, how clean, neat, tidy is your workspace? And that gives a perception of efficiency. If it's all cluttered and you don't know what negative signals, what negative perceptions you give to other people. How organized is your documentation when you come in and present? Is it that you're just fumbling around and not knowing, or just finding your way, or you're supremely confident when you come in? You sit elegantly and professionally with all the C's, you make your presentation. How punctual you are, dot on time. I've never been late because I always considered all the factors, even when I'm in Mumbai, considering the Mumbai traffic, where I would be and plan and schedule my meetings with the right cushion. I may have lesser meetings in a day. I may reach half an hour earlier, but I would sit and then do my own work, which I'd planned my time if I reach early. It's better to reach early than to leave late. When you speak for 2 hours, have content for 6 hours. Always keep your time. As a professional speaker, I may have started late because the organizers would have delayed the start of the program, but I would always end on time. Unless the organization whom I'm speaking to has asked me to speak for my number of hours, and then they don't mind the delay, but I'll ask for their permission. So we started 11 to sharp on time. We're ending at 12:40 and leaving it for the question answers. 12:40 can be 12:45, but it can't go beyond that. That's professionalism. That's what, as a professional speaker, you would do, and that's what you perceived as. Perception is standing to your commitments, come so whatever may. It's how you act, and nobody else is watching you. It's all also about your self-respect, how you respect your ideals and values. And that powerful dialogue, मैंने एक बार commitment कर ली तो मैं खुद की भी नहीं सुनता. So how steadfast you are to your beliefs and your value systems. And respectful demeanor, how professional and how positive is your attitude. Relationship management is all about understanding who your target client is and what is his real need. You need to anticipate his problems, his requirements well in advance with a foresight. We have data, we have information, we have knowledge. ChatGPT has got you all the knowledge on the table with AI. It's how you practically implement and execute the knowledge you have, which is wisdom. The gap in the modern world is not of knowing. The gap in the modern world is about doing. It's all about implementing and executing it on time. It's all about efficiency, effectiveness, and productivity. We need to do it on time, not procrastination or procrastinate. That's the real worry, the real fear, the real risk. And we need to do our own SWOT. How many of us have done a real SWOT with a feedback? These are my strengths. These are my strengths, my skills, my special talents, my niche, my super niche. And this is what I'll use, my gifts, my abilities, my capabilities, my talents with my trust. So what I call CCTV to hurt mad. My competency, my credibility, my talent, and my values. To hurt mad is to help, be of use, be of relevance, to make a difference. MAD is making a difference. Am I making a difference personally and professionally to others? Am I impacting? Am I adding value with my value systems? And am I doing that proactively? Am I staying ahead of deadlines? Do I master the urgency and the important aspects? Do I have a structured method of what is a must have, what is a should have, what is a can have, and what is a not have? Or maybe, do I have a way of going about my things? Maybe you would have listed A, B, C, D, the priority items first, the low-hanging items first. How do I really structure it so that I don't miss, I don't skip, I don't beat any deadline? I'm not stressed, I'm not tensed, I'm not anxious, I'm not nervous, I'm not irritated. I'm relaxed, calm, peaceful, happy, enjoying the moment, and using all of that to make a difference. Again, timeliness of delivery is key. It's promptness in my niche, in my expertise, in my experience to serve, serve with humility, to exceed all expectations, walk the extra mile, walk the talk, walk the walk, do the bit more, something which the client would not have expected. And it's not all about money that you do only if you're paid or paid in advance, because money will always be a byproduct of quality value service because clients know the worth of good service. And as professionals, the pride of service before personal gain is something which is resonating with us in every action that we do. What is the wow experience? Have we thought about client experience? What is the client experiencing when he comes to our office, when he meets us, when he greets us? Is there consistency in my value offering? And do I take feedbacks? The feed forwards I call, because I need not go back. I need to go forward and improve whenever I am. So we've seen the five processes: relationships, personality, social skills, communication, and emotional intelligence is what is the last skill which we'll see for perception management. And emotional intelligence starts with first understanding self, understanding ourselves, being aware. And as I said, awareness precedes change. Am I recognizing the triggers which make others reflect, introspect, and be aware? Emotional regulation post being aware. How do I adapt to emotions? How do I adapt to various contexts? How do I adapt to various situations? It's all about responding. It's not reacting. It's responding with calmness, having that presence of mind. And at various points of time, whenever you are addressing audit committees or whenever you're having a presentation or meetings with clients, you will be asked those tricky questions or something out of the blue. The googly or the dusra, as they call it in cricket. And there you will have to have the presence of mind with a pause. Pause, take a break, take a 3-second break to compose yourself. Don't panic. Don't get a blank out. Don't freeze. Obviously, that comes with experience, that comes with preparedness. But even the best of the best would have those moments, and they would need to take that pause to come out and then be cool, calm, composed mentally within to think correctly and answer whatever is asked. So just adapt to your emotions with the right context and situation, with the right pauses, the right manner to still and calm your mind. Each one may have his own way. Before the D-Day, he may be priming himself by some power actions. I remember Tony Robbins, a great speaker, the author of the book Awaken the Giant Within. He used to actually pump himself, prime himself by jumping on the trampoline to give him that energy, that excitement, that enthusiasm to address the crowd for maybe 3 hours, 4 hours crowds in multiples of thousands. Some may just take a walk, some may just listen to music, some may just meditate. You could have various ways to prime or regulate your emotions. The empathy. Empathy and reacting to people with kindness, with love, with affection, with care, genuinely and authentically is the real way to connect to one's heart and edge to edge. It's not B2B, C2C, B2C. It's edge to edge, which is human to human, heart to heart, a direct connection. Understand other people's feelings, show genuine care, respond, don't react. And you need to develop your social quotient. Understand what it is. Again, as auditors, we need to do our self audit, understand what our social skill or score is. Do we really network? Is our network our net worth? How do we network? With whom do we network? We are the sum of the power leaders whom we spend the times with. Proximity is real power, and proximity to quality thought leadership is real power. So, do we network with the right positive people? And we are not living in an era of competition. Unfortunately, we compete with each other. As fellow professionals, we need to collaborate, we need to cooperate so that we can co-create and co-elevate each other. So it's all about cooperation, to collaborate, to co-create, and co-elevate. And do you keep yourself motivated? And how do you keep yourself motivated? Easy to slip back to bad habits, easy to procrastinate, easy to delay. Tomorrow never comes. How do we develop those atomic habits? How do we have that patience, perseverance, persistence, tenacity, grit, resilience, all of that? How do we develop that motivation muscle? And that's something we need to basically work upon, whether we journal, whether we have a coach, whether we have a mastermind, or whether we have an accountability partner who pushes us, who eggs us on. In life, we really need these three people. One is a mentor or a coach, and mastermind group, which spreads positivity, and we need accountability partners who would push us to do more. So stay motivated, develop the social muscle, have empathy always, and be aware of your emotions. And once you are aware of the emotions, know how to regulate, manage, and control your emotions. So, the 5 principles, please bear that in mind. How do we do that? What could be some effective strategies that we could do? One is we could author books, we could speak, starting from study circles, panel discussions, at institute seminars, to other corporate or seminars. Never lose an opportunity to speak and express your views. You have the social media, you have LinkedIn as a platform, whether you can leverage that effectively. So if I'm speaking today, I've posted on the social media that this is what I would be speaking on. Now that gives you a mind map written on a social platform. You get feedbacks, which again makes it very clear on what you would speak, how you would speak, and how you would go in a flow. And once you get in a flow state, it's very easy. It's you stop yourself right on time. Knowing how to time yourself is you just can't have something which is left out for the audience. Monitor the feedback, monitor the reviews you get, the testimonials you get, the endorsements you get. Start building your brand on social media, especially LinkedIn, with your power quote, your power word, your thought leadership quality posts. How do you manage your PR? Again, how do you react? How do you mingle with the change makers, the influencers? How do you manage crisis? How do you manage emergency situations? How don't you not panic? How do you respond to negative events? How do you respond to criticism? It's all key. And whether you always hurt mad, being helpful, useful, and relevant at all times with your trust to make a difference to people's life. What is your tagline? What is your keyword? What is it that people know you as? Engage audiences. Know what they want. What is in it for them? It's not what is in it for you, it's what is it for them. Spread knowledge, don't spread information, it's available in plenty. Spread wisdom, move from hindsight to insight to a foresight. Be a thought leader that will transform and transcend people with your value and value systems. Have a strategy to communicate. Help other people grow. Build communities. Create a legacy. It's only when you help people, it's only when you make people feel good. It's more than what you did, it's how you made them feel, whether you made them important, whether you made them feel good, feel happy, feel satisfied, is what will matter. Be very positive, be very clear and crisp, and no way negative in your tone when you speak or communicate. Always be on the lookout for opportunities for growing and developing. Never say no. And that doesn't mean you say no to any situation where you're not prepared and where you might impair your reputation. So it's all about balancing and optimizing. You get various softwares now, you get various mentors, you get various masterminds, various accountability partners who would help you handle all these issues. Social media has various analytic tools which will help you know where you are moving around. The benefits obviously are enhanced credibility, increased trust, improved reputation, better relationships, a competitive advantage, play to your strengths, develop your niche, have your USP, UVP to stand out in a crowded market because it's a survival of the fitter among the fittest. It's the one who most proactively respond to the change. The ones will survive and they will sustain and they will thrive. So your strategies need to evolve. What is long term? The long term of yesterday is the medium term of today. The medium term of today is the short term of the now. And the short term of the now is this precise second, the $1 million second. The power of the now. Use it wisely to your advantage. Maintain consistency. Avoid negativity. Address those criticisms, trolls. Crisis will always be there. There will be black swan events. You'll have a situation, suddenly it's shining, suddenly it's raining. The extreme climate changes are here to stay. How you respond and turn every threat into an opportunity and every weakness into a strength is what will define you, and you are the creator of your own destiny. Balance transparency with confidentiality. It's a key skill. Data, the CIA, the confidentiality, integrity, and availability has to be optimized and balanced. Balancing is key. Balancing is crucial. And another thing is measure. Have measurable metrics. Measure your own effectiveness. And this is where there'll be a lot of audits you can do. The audits for finding out your social quotient, the audits for finding out your reputational score, perception management audit, your efficiency effectiveness audit, reflect, introspect as that's the key. Workshops, training programs, attend as much as you can, balancing your time between family and work. So for me, Monday to Friday is work. Saturday is all about giving or learning through lectures or meeting networking groups or fellow chartered accountants, fellow friends, fellow peers. Sunday is all for family. Again, you have your holidays, your festivity time. So learn how to balance responsibility. Take responsibility and accountability for your actions, and that includes managing your perceptions. Mentors, masterminds, and accountability partners are must. And I said this earlier in my talk.
And I would like to repeat this again. Mentors, masterminds are people along with the accountability partners who really help you personally and professionally grow and develop. So have these guys with you. Attend industry events and conferences, network with the sole purpose of giving so that you can receive. Don't go anywhere with what will I gain. Go with what I can give. It's the giver's gain mentality which will take you to success. And finally, self study, self reflect, introspection. Introspection and reflection are key attributes to success. Change and adapt. Regular perception audits, assess current perceptions and attitudes, have a comprehensive communication strategy, smart goals aligned with your purpose and why. Know your purpose, know your why. Why are you here? What's the legacy you want to leave? How do you want to die empty? What will people say at your grave? Whatever are the books which are written, the 5 a.m. club, what would you all do to make a difference? Ongoing stakeholder engagement, keep on building relationships and trust, have your positivity for yourself, for your company, develop that culture, develop the culture muscle, continuous monitoring, course corrections, adjustments, adapting, tracking, supervising, reviewing, all have to be done. And finally, to end, people only see what they are prepared to see. People see what they want to see, and that may not have anything to do with the truth. People see what they need to see. They'll only see what they need to see, they'll skip the rest. There are things which are known, there are things which are unknown, and in between, it's all about perception. And do not allow others' limited perceptions to define you. And understand all things in the proper context and background. So know these things as perceptions precede reality and perceptions shape reality unless they are busted. Effective perception management not only enhances your professional reputation, it builds trust and fosters long-term relationships. So, bang on time, I'll just share one more video for you. So 12:40 is the right time where we ended. And there's one more video which I like to share and end this presentation with. So any questions post that I would take.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Just a minute. Let me have the screen share. Fine, we can take the questions.
So, sir, we have some questions from our members.
Yeah.
Let me speak this out.
Yeah.
So, one of the questions is how we can handle the perceptions of some senior and like junior partners on professional issues into a firm.
So first is, what are these perceptions? When you mean to say handling perceptions, first I need to know what these perceptions are. And secondly, are these perceptions reality? So if I'm perceived as somebody not sticking to my time, then there would be valid reasons for others to think the way they think. Then I can change that perception only by one, acting in the manner which is completely contradictory to that perception and acting consistently. Or maybe if there is some misunderstanding, then communicating transparently with them. So one needs to know what that perception is and whether that perception is not in sync with what I am actually doing. So whether they know me in the way I am, what I spoke at the start, if you can, somebody had asked whether the presentation can be shared, you can share the presentation. It's who I am and what I do and why I do what I do and how I do and when I do is in sync with what other people think what I do. I think then it's all in order. But perception is a miscommunication, a misalignment. It's something which needs to be reconciled. And as a chartered accountant, let me know what the difference is and let me reconcile it. Let me balance it. Let me optimize it. Let me tally it. So it's a perception tally which I need to do. Whether I use a software or whether I do it manually, but I need to do it.
Thank you so much, sir. So next question is like, what about the common misconceptions which we have related to perception management? It's a dynamic thing, so
one is, see, misconception, the biggest misconception is that I'm perceived in the same manner which I expect myself to be perceived. So I feel that I'm acting in a particular manner and others will think of me as this is what my intention is behind that act. But why would people know what exactly is your intent? And unless you are completely transparent, genuine, authentic, and that shows, I think people will not perceive it in the same mind. So one is, the misconception is that people know me exactly the way I am is the biggest misconception. The second is I really don't need to care about others' perceptions. I am what I am. I'm frank. I'm honest. But if you're hurting people in that way, then not honesty. You need to balance your words. You can't be that brash. You can't be that hurtful. You need to be mindful. So these are two common perceptions. One is I'm doing it right. The second is I don't need it. I think if I have become more aware, as I say, because I use my reflection and introspection, then I really need to know that perception management is for real. It needs to be done. I need it. Everybody needs it. And what I do and how I do and why I do is not exactly the way which other people will interpret my actions. And that's why I need to manage perceptions effectively. So that's the two common misconceptions of that I'm not perceived wrongly and that I don't need to manage perceptions. I think basic. If I can handle it, everything else can be managed. They will be subsets of these two.
wonderfully answered, sir. So, like, it's my question. Like, perception is a very dynamic thing. It like varies from human to human, and it comes over with experience, with maturity. Like, if we want to have a proper perception management in an organization, so what sort of measures should be taken by the firm? Like you very well mentioned, there should be a feedback mechanism. Other than feedback mechanism, what all like measures can be taken by the management or organization for an effective perception management?
So I believe all of you would be aware that there is something in the corporate called corporate communications.
Right, sir.
What is the corporate communication doing? There is a chief culture officer also in various corporates. So the responsibility of the corporate communications is to lay down the tone, lay down the message of the company culture, which is a culture of maybe positivity, productivity, inclusivity, diversion, integrity, innovation, whatever is that culture that's communicated to the people in the manner in which it's rightly perceived. So you have a corporate communications officer with a chief culture officer or somebody who's managing communications and culture so that you use all these five tools which I said: relationships, communications, your personality. Personality will be individualistics, but in a company, it will be the company brand. So all of these, maybe the marketing department plays a role, your corporate communications plays a role, your culture plays your role, your operations plays a role, because if you goof up in your operations and you skip transactions, you do transactions wrong, then it will leave opinions, beliefs, judgments, and perception. So perceptions is not just a one person fit tool. I think it's something which needs to be periodically audited and viewed as a risk that you spread a perception. And whoever handles it in a department, one needs to be conscious that it needs to be built, sustained, and improved over time. So positive perceptions maintenance is a risk. I really don't know how many of us as internal auditors would have audited that. How many of us would have audited a culture audit? How many of us would have done an audit of corporate communications? First is understand what the mission, vision, and the purpose is of the organizations, the why of its existence, and whether what the actions are, they are aligned with all of that. So yes, we could start with self introspection and reflection and just go to the root of it. So feedbacks is one, but before feedbacks, I need to lay down the basic fundamentals and the ground rules for a lot of value and value systems which would truly determine my organization and be consistent with it. I may
Right, sir.
need to walk the walk, as I said, walk the walk, go the extra mile, meet deadlines, give quality. You can't afford to. It's a restaurant. You can't afford to goof up one day the quality. It has to be consistent.
Right, sir. So when it comes to communication, at times, like people usually have a phobia in communicating. Like, what will my senior or reporting manager think about me? What sort of question I am asking? What would be the perception of my client when I am asking this sort of question? So, how can we overcome that phobia of a different perception?
So I think the biggest risk what we have when we speak is not that we don't know how to speak. It's the fear of being judged.
Right,
The
right.
fear that we would be judged right. That's what I say. The fear is not of knowing. The fear is of doing. And at times we have unnecessary fears. And it's always said that if we try to live the life of what others would think about us, I think we would be shocked to see that nobody really thinks about us. And nobody's really bothered on what you speak, on how you speak, to the extent I perceive they would think and they would react or respond. So I think some ground rules: always speak the truth, be factual, be courteous and graceful in the way you speak positively, speak with humility, and speak with simplicity. And speak what is relevant and what is needed. And I think if there is one thing which should come when you speak something, I think the only one, there are a lot of things which you need to process. So it would take, as you say, some maturity. But if you just have no quick time to process whether I should speak or not, just speak the truth. Just ask yourself one question: am I speaking? Am I speaking the truth? And speak out with consent. So just don't worry about what other people would think. You might turn out to be a whistleblower, but you may think that people would think at times that this is stupid, but if it's true, it's factual, I think just go ahead. Don't hesitate. Never lose any opportunity to speak out, because if you don't speak out, people will never know your voice, and you always
Right,
need
sir.
to express to impress.
Wonderful insight, sir. So next we have like how can we strike a balance between everything required immediately and thoughtful leadership?
So first is, see, again, everything is contextual, varying from person to person. What is required immediately is something different from thought leadership. When something which is immediate or ASAP, I would look at it as something which is urgent. And when it comes to thought leadership is something which is important and urgent, but it can't be done in a day. So you need to gradually build on it. So yes, then there are various ways of building your thought leadership brand. First is develop a niche. Develop a super niche. Know what your value and values are. Get feedbacks. So sync those feedbacks with your personal views about yourself, your professional views about yourself with what others say. And that start building your reputation and personal brand. Give, as I said, lectures, be on social media at the right places, with the right content, at the right time, with the right hashtags, with the right engagement, which I say cheat on the platform. And when I mean cheat, it's with the content, with the hashtags, with the engagement, with the appreciation of people around on the platform. And the key is the timing. You need to be consistent daily in your posting, or twice a week, or thrice a week, or whatever. So cheat or teach, the way either you put it, to professional success. And it's urgent, it's important, but it can't be done in a day. You need to gradually start. So a journey of 1,000 miles will begin with a single step. Take that step right now. Maybe you could post on social media what you learned today, or what you like, or what you didn't like also, maybe. But just post. Don't hesitate. Be
This will
receptive
definitely
to trolls,
help.
be receptive to criticism, but that's a feed forward.
This will definitely gonna help, sir. Maybe like the pain point of most of the professionals, not even in our profession, but other professions as well.
Yeah.
Sir, if you can share certain success stories which can help us enlighten about this perception management.
These success stories is basically, what do you mean by success first? So success is again subjective like perception. And for me, success is an progressive improvement of a worthy goal you are pursuing. Success is something which gives you inner peace, satisfaction, happiness, contentment, no stress. Success is beyond your titles, your money. So, first is be very clear on what success is. And once you are clear on success, knowing success is aligned to your purpose, and then living every day of your life aligned with your purpose, which is your value and value systems, then you are a success story every day. Simple. Everyone is a success story if he's living a life which is aligned with his value and value systems. And that is what I said is making the truest use of one's potential, ability, and capability to make a difference, to impact the society, to impact lives, to connect, to make a difference, and truly transform and transcend lives for the better, to solve pain points, to solve problems, be
Again, it's
effective, efficient, productive.
Yeah.
I think everyone is a success story, right? I think
Right. Again, it's all about perception, sir. How we take
it's
it.
about self-perception. Here it's about self-perception. What's your perception of success?
Right, sir. I guess, sir, these were all the questions from the members and audience. Thank you so much for a wonderful and insightful session, sir.
Thank you.
Maybe like everybody will try to implement this in their respective organizations, in their lives, everywhere, wherever possible. Thank you so much for your time, sir. That was a great help and insightful lessons for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. And how many people attended? I just
Sambitji?
we don't just get to know it. It's time becomes a one-way monologue. Fine. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Sambitji, for inviting me, and my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
sir.
you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
You end the meeting.
Recording stopped.